show, 'cause it's Power Up on the go. Do 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 do.
Have you got all our gear packed for our camping trip, Gordita? You don't want to forget all the things you need to survive in the wilderness.
Oh, Miss Ameres, if you look behind those bags, you will find the most important item to keep us alive.
That's it? Baked beans? Gordita, you need more than that. What about a sleeping bag or a tent? You don't want to get cold, do you?
Ay, mi amiga, don't be so silly. It's the only thing I need to survive. Plus, I know I'll be warm and safe sleeping next to you.
Well, let's not waste time. We gotta go. There's so much to see and do. Come on!
Let the road fiesta begin!
Oh, Gordita, are you sure you don't want me to stop by your house and grab you your own tent?
No, I'm good.
All right, well, let's get this trip on the road.
Over there. That one in the middle looks so hungry. I think we should stop and give him some of my frijoles.
Well, we actually can't feed him any food. We're in a national park.
Oh, I'm just trying to be kind and share my plethora of beans. He looks so skinny.
Well, Gordita, I appreciate your generosity, but one of the rules in a national park is that you can't feed the animals. We should probably check the other rules we have to follow while we're here. Fires are only allowed in designated fire pits. Pets must be leashed at all times. All food, even food in coolers, must be stored inside your car.
Why do we have to follow these rules, señorita?
Well, these rules help us to protect nature in the park and protect us. You know, all these rules are reminding me of some of the rules that God has for us.
Is there a pamphlet for these rules?
Well, no, not a pamphlet, but we do have the Bible. And it gives us some of the rules that God has for us. You know, how about we go to Zap for more on that?
Sounds like a plan, amiga.
Oh, I should have gone back to get your own tent.
Zippity zoodly zim! Welcome back to my lab, friends! I hope you all had a zaptastic summer! While you were gone, I've been trying out some super special experiments in my lab here! Come on, let me show you! For this one, we're going to need some assistance. Let's welcome back my helping hands! Huh? Wait, who's this? Mrs. Helping Hands? Where's Helping Hands. What's that? Over the summer, Helping Hands discovered his passion for jazz dancing, and in fact, he's at dance lessons right now? But you're here to fill in for him. Zippity zoodles! Okay, well, let's get started and show our friends some science magic! What? Oh, that's right. Before I show you this funky experiment, we need to follow the rules of the lab. Science is fun, but it can also be dangerous if we don't follow the rules. We need protection. Step 1, goggles. Step 2, gloves. Oh, and Miss Helping Hands, you need something too. Perfect. Now here are the rules of the lab. Don't touch anything without protection. Don't taste anything. Follow the instructions very extra carefully. And make sure you have an adult supervision. Remember, I'm a professional, so don't try this at home, kids. Okay, for today's experiment, we are going to need hydrogen peroxide, aka H2O2, and water, also known as H2O, dish soap, and yeast. We also need a container to safely catch our experiment. First, we mix the water and the yeast. Now we pour in the hydrogen peroxide and add a splash of dish soap. Let's add some color. Let's see what happens when we mix it together. Zip, zap, and zoodles! Look at that zaptastic chemical reaction! But be careful, the bottle is hot! The reaction between the hydrogen peroxide and the yeast creates a lot of energy in the form of heat, which is called an exothermic reaction. This means we need to be extra careful because it can be dangerous. The rule is not to touch anything until it's cooled down. Rules like this keep us safe. Let's go back to Miss Amaris to learn more about how God's rules keep us safe.
Well, the campsite is just about done. Want to head back to set?
You mean we have to drive another 4 hours back? We just got here.
No. We don't have to drive all the way back.
We don't?
Nope. In fact, the set is just around that corner. Come on, let's go.
Wow, I did not know PowerUp was behind this tree the whole time.
Hey, Curly, you miss us?
So today I was thinking we could talk about the Israelites. Several months ago, way back before the summer even started, we were learning about a man named Moses and how God used him to save the Israelites from Egypt.
Yes! I think I remember. That's the one where he split the whole sea, right?
Yes, Gordita. Well, after God brought the Israelites safely across the sea, the Israelites camped in the desert, just like we're camping.
Sí. Pero I don't think I would like to camp in the desert. It's too hot. I think I would turn into bacon.
I agree. I wouldn't want to camp in a desert either. But that's where the Israelites stayed while they're waiting for God to lead them to the promised land.
What is the promised land?
Well, it was a place that was much nicer than the desert, where they could have everything that they needed to eat and live happily.
Were the beans is in the promised land?
I don't know about beans in the promised land.
Oh, I don't think that I would like to go then.
Well, the Israelites wanted to go, but while they were living in the desert, God knew that they needed some rules. Before, the Israelites were living under Egyptian rules, but now that they were free, they needed their own rules.
To keep them safe, right? Just like in Zap's science lab?
Exactly. And to help them take care of each other and worship God as well. Let's go to a couple of my favorite chins and learn more about that.
Why, hello everybody. My name's Chinchilla, and this here's my friend Urchin. But to make it easier, you can just call us the Double Chins.
We are both very excited to be here on PowerUp on the Go with all you lovely people.
Yes, a pleasure indeed. Today we have the honor of telling you today's Bible story.
Have you ever heard of the 10 Commandments?
They're like rules that God told the Israelites to follow.
Except the 10 Commandments are not ideas or guidelines for the Israelites. They were commands God required them to follow to show love and serve God.
Now, you may be wondering, how did God tell the Israelites these commandments?
Moses, remember the guy who led the Israelites out of Egypt, went to the top of a mountain called Mount Sinai. There, God told him these 10 Commandments for the Israelites to follow.
Now, the first of these commandments was that they are to serve God only. He is the only true God and cannot have any other gods before him.
The second commandment is to worship only God. They weren't allowed to have idols, which is anything more important to us than God.
Thirdly, was that the Israelites had to respect God's name and honor him when talking to or about him. They could not use God's name casually or disrespectfully.
Command 4 was that they had to honor God's day, to make it special. This was called the Sabbath. God wanted to make sure that they had to rest and think about him.
The fifth command says to respect your parents. Sometimes we don't want to listen to what the parents tell us to do, but God begins telling us how to treat others by telling us how to treat our family. God wants to honor and respect our parents with our thoughts, words, and actions.
Sixthly, God said not to murder anyone. God loves every person as he created them in his image.
The seventh command tells the Israelites to keep marriage promises. God says you must only love your spouse romantically for the rest of your life, even when it's hard.
The eighth command says do not steal, as God says stealing is wrong. We are not to take anything that belongs to anyone else.
The ninth command is to never lie, to speak only the truth. God says that lying is bad, and even exaggerating the truth or not telling the truth is also considered to be a lie.
And the final command God gave the Israelites was to not be jealous of what other people had. He said not to covet someone else's possessions, which means do not become unhappy with what you have and want what someone else has.
Although God gave these commands to the Israelites to follow thousands of years ago, they're still applicable today. We are still to try and follow these rules the best we can.
God gave these commands as a guide for the good living of his people and as a check against evil. And even today, following these rules is still applicable.
Well, that's the story. Thanks so much for listening. We hope to see you again very soon. Until then, always remember to chin up and turn your frowns upside down.
10 whole commandments? I don't know if I can remember all those.
And those were just some of the rules the Jews had to follow. In fact, there were actually 613 commandments that the Jews were expected to keep.
Ay, that's so many.
But the good news is that all these commandments can be summed up in two very important rules that Jesus gives us.
And what are those?
They are found in the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 30 to 31. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. The first 4 commandments are serve only God, worship only God, not idols, respect God's name and honor him when talking to or about him, and honor God's day. These are all ways that we love God, which is why Jesus said the most important commandment is to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. The last 6 commandments are: respect your parents, do not murder or even hate people, keep marriage promises, do not steal, tell the entire truth always, don't want what belongs to others. These are all ways that we show love to the people around us, which is why Jesus said the second important commandment is to love your neighbor.
So I have to love God and love others? That's not so hard to remember.
Yeah. Oh, sounds like our mailbox. Why don't we check our mail for some examples on how to do that? Dear Miss Amaris, sometimes I wish I could stay home and play with my toys instead of going to church. Do I really have to go to church every Sunday? Signed, Larry from Lethbridge. Well, Larry from Lethbridge, today we learned that the 4th commandment is to honor God's day and make it special. Maybe we can't always go to church, but we need to set aside time every week to honor God.
Plus, going to church is fun. It's my favorite place to be. Why would you want to stay home with your toys?
I agree. Church is my favorite place to be too. Oh, it looks like we have another letter. Dear Miss Amaris, my mom is always telling me to follow her rules. Do this, don't do that. I'm so tired of rules. Why do we even have them? Signed, Percy from Pincher Creek. Well, Percy, a lot of times our parents give us rules to keep us safe. Why don't we go to the small family to see an example of that?
Mom, I'm hungry.
You're 14 years old, Jesse. Do you expect me to stop everything I'm doing and feed you?
Yes?
My lands, child! What would you ever do if I left you alone by yourself? Look, there's leftover mac and cheese in the fridge. You can put some in a bowl and heat it up in the microwave.
Oh, okay. Do. Ah, here it is. Now, Mom said to put it in a bowl. But why would I put it in a bowl when I can just eat it out of the pot? Huh. That's weird. It looks like there's little sparks in there.
Jesse Small, what are you doing in there? Oh my good yelping gremlins! Are you okay? Oh my dear, we better get you checked out for burns at the hospital. Come on, sweetheart, it's gonna be okay. Oh, my poor kitchen! You are one lucky kiddo. I can't believe you don't have any serious burns. But what on earth happened?
I don't know, Mom. The whole microwave just lit on fire and exploded.
That's so weird. What did you put in it?
Well, I just did what you said. I took out the pot of mac and cheese, warmed it up in the microwave, And,
You mean you put the whole pot in the microwave?
well, yeah. What's wrong with that?
Jesse, I specifically told you to put it in a bowl. Metal can't go in the microwave. It starts a fire.
Oh,
Jesse, this is a perfect example of why it's so important to listen. If you put it in a bowl, we would still have our kitchen.
I'm sorry, Mom. I guess I didn't realize that it was important not to put a pot in the microwave. The kitchen kind of needed some upgrades anyways, not gonna lie.
I forgive you, Jesse. Honestly, I'm just glad that no one got hurt.
Yeah, me too.
You know, this kind of reminds me of why it's important to follow God's rules for us.
It does?
Yeah. Sometimes we know the rules God has for us, but we don't see the point to them, so we don't listen. Kind of how you didn't see the point of putting the macaroni in a bowl first. But God knows why those rules are there. Just like I knew that the microwave would catch fire if you used the pot.
Huh.
It reminds me of this Bible verse.
Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. Jeremiah 17:7.
We can trust that God will take care of us, and that when we follow his rules, things will go well for us.
Huh. Well, I guess maybe I should trust both you and God a little bit more.
You can never go wrong trusting in God.
Yeah. And one more thing too.
What's that?
I guess I really still do need you to make food for me, even though I'm 14.
Oh, Jesse.
Just like our parents give us rules to keep us safe, God gives us rules to keep us safe as well, and to tell us the best way to live and worship him. When the Israelites were living in the desert, God gave them rules to follow called the 10 Commandments. Plus like 600 more. But we learned today that all these commandments can be summed up in just 2 rules. Love God and love your neighbor. And that's what our memory verse is about. Let's go visit my good friend Trevor to learn it.
Hey, yo, kids. My name is Trevor, and I'm a Triceratops. And you know, I believe that memorizing Bible verses is very important because, you know, when we're going through tough times in life, God can, you know, remind us of those special verses that we learned. Let's try this verse together today. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. Mark 12:30-31. Hey, great job. Let's do it one more time now. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. Mark 12, verses 30-31. Hey, very nice, very nice. See you all again soon.
Thanks so much, Trevor. Oh, sounds like it's time for questions with Curly.
Why do we have rules in the science lab? A. They're just something we have to do. B. Rules keep us safe. C. Because that is bossy. The answer is rules keep us safe. On what mountain did Moses receive the 10 Commandments? A. Mount Sinai, B. Mount Wanahakalugi, or C. Mount Everest? The answer is A. Mount Sinai.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us today, guys. We'll see you next time on Power Up on the Go.